Mr. Eggplant presents...
Hey guys, Tyler here. Thank you for checking out this video. And as requested by you guys, my viewers, we have some more Dark Ranger content here on my channel. This time we're jumping back into Mythic Plus with a +10 timed City of Threads. I think this is actually the first time I've posted City of Threads this season, which is going to be kind of cool. Can kind of talk about the dungeon and maybe even learn a thing or two from you guys. But the main goal of this video is to show you guys that if you're trying to get AOTC in Raid, or you're trying to get Keystone Master, Keystone Heroes, or even to get all of your +10 portals, you can definitely do that on a Dark Ranger Marksman Hunter and still have a ton of fun along the way. And then keep in mind, I do have, for full disclosure, I do have an Aug Evoker in the group that is buffing my damage a little bit there. And then also we do have a Disc Priest in the group, so I do get PI 6 times throughout the dungeon. Again, just for full disclosure. I will put my entire build down in the description of the video. I had an 81.1% uptime on a double Dawn Silk Lining, and I had a 72.2% uptime on Steady Focus, so really prioritizing that Steady Focus uptime, and I've seen some significant improvement from a week-to-week basis since 11.05. And then, like I said, my entire build's down in the description of the video. My item level is 623. The trinkets I'm using are going to be a 639 Empowering Crystal of Anub'ikkaj and a 619 Mad Queen's Mandate. So I did try that out for the first time in the key. I thought it went all right, did about 5.6% of my total damage. But then the affixes are going to be Voidbound, Fortified, Challenger's Peril, and Tyrannical, as we see our Void Emissary make their presence known here in the key. So if you leave the Void Emissary up, everything takes less damage while it's up, and it stacks. But then also when you kill it, you get 30 seconds, I believe it's 20% versatility. So a fair bit of damage reduction and just overall flat damage increase. So there are going to be a couple of pulls that are going to go really bad, and they're actually at the very beginning of this dungeon. And I will not cut those out because that is kind of the point of these. Initially, when I started posting my Mythic Plus runs back in BFA, it was for me to be able to easily go back and watch them and see where I'm making mistakes and where I can get better as a teammate, but also just in general on my Marksman Hunter. And here we come to the enemy we want to talk about, which is going to be the Herald of Ansarek. So the Herald has two main abilities, I guess. One is Twisted Thoughts, which you can see here. It's going to absolutely KO me almost. So what happens is there's going to be two different abilities. One is going to be called Shadows of Doubt. That's one of the boss abilities, and it will shoot the orbs in a 5 pentagon direction out from your character. So what you want to do is you want to interrupt the Twisted Thoughts or twist thoughts. There we go. If you don't, you die, as you just saw me do. So this is probably one of the most important kicks for the first season of Mythic Plus, because, like I said, it does a ton of damage to its target, but then it also drops the Poop Puddle, and then the Poop Puddle can tick down, do more damage, and you just flat out die. On these pulls, what we need to be doing is trying to interrupt, like AoE interrupt or AoE stun the Silk Binders, because that was actually what was soaking up some of our interrupts early on. But you need to be cleaving off of the Herald, which I'm not doing a very good job of. And on this next pack, I will also not do a very good job of, and that's something that I have learned just from rewatching this. So one of the goals every time I jump into a Mythic Plus is to have my True Shot up for the pull of every boss. Well, that's not going to happen in this one, but that was because I feared this Herald. I feared it so much that I didn't target it until like halfway through this pull. So hindsight 2020, I at least learned something in this dungeon. So now we're down to the two enemies there. How our group deals with the Shadows of Doubt. So our healer will dispel one of them and then let the other one time out. That seemed to work really well on the boss, and then if you get hit by that, you get stunned. It does a fair bit of damage, but the stun is what kills you, particularly on the boss, because you have to move, and there's just other things that you have to avoid. And honestly, if you hit your tank with that and he gets stunned, it's probably GG. You're probably dead, and you're probably wiping. So alright, so I have about 35 seconds left on my true shot cooldown. Luckily for us, thanks to calling the shots, we'll be able to whittle that down fairly quickly, so it's not that big of a deal. I'm just trying to get full value with having true shot up during our careful aim zone. So as long as you can get your full true shot in that careful aim zone, which is the first 30% of a boss's health, I think you'll be a-okay. The beautiful thing about this build, which again, all the build information will be found down in the description of the video, I don't have to worry about, other than my volley, I don't have to worry about throwing anything down on the ground to do damage. So Terrorize is a frontal. It's a very thin frontal cone, so you just want to avoid that. As you saw, I didn't have to move very far. And we're already at about 75% on the boss's health. The Indoctrination is going to drop down. It drops that poop puddle that goes very quick. If you get caught on the other side, you need to be over near your tank. You're probably just dead. Subjugate is going to be a tank buster, and then there's Terrorize again, and then the orbs are going to come out. We're moving pretty fast. We got full use out of that 30 seconds of increased versatility, which is definitely helpful. As you saw there, we had one person move to one. It's basically like if you split the boss circle into thirds, the tank is going to be in the top third. One of our DPS goes in the left, and then to the right side of the triple pie slice, if you will. And it seems to work really, really well for our group. And looking at cooldowns, like we're just moving, we're melting this guy pretty fast. This, in my opinion, this boss and the last boss are the scariest for me. I don't mind that second boss. I'm also not the tank, and I don't really have an issue with the third boss, particularly when you're playing Dark Ranger, because I feel a little bit more tanky as a Dark Ranger because of Smokescreen, which is one of our hero talent abilities. Whenever you use Exhilaration, you get a little bit of a duration of Survival of the Fittest, and when you use Survival of the Fittest, you get a little bit of a heal from your Exhilaration, even whether it's on cooldown or not, which is, it's great. So we're already at 10%. I went ahead and I used my true shot, and I didn't really talk too much about my opener, but it would look something like this. I would use explosive shot, I would drop my volley. If I have true shot up, then I'm going to go true shot, rapid fire, aim shot, and then I'm just going to prioritize, I should say I'm going to use kill shot if it comes up, but during our true shot window, any of those death blows that we get will automatically send, which will do a good amount of damage. And there, the first boss is down. We did 1.16 million, 1.16 million DPS for the first boss. Not too bad for an encounter where you have to move around a lot. It was definitely helped that we had an Aug Evoker. Definitely helped that we also had the full duration of that Voidbound buff as well. So we tend to pull both of these together, at least we had in other runs. There we go. Here comes the Eye of the Queen. Something that you can do on a hunter. Whenever Eye of the Queen is pulled, put your hunter's mark on it, because it will disappear. We'll see what the ability is here really, really fast. Null Slam. There we go. But as you see, the arrow stayed on the mob, so you know where the frontal cone is going to come from. It makes it significantly easier for your group to avoid it. So I would highly recommend if you use Hunter's Mark for anything, use it for that. So we have to take out the 3 eyes of the Queen to be able, the 4 eyes of the Queen, to be able to get to the Fangs of the Queen, which will be the second boss. So we're whittling down this guy here, and then we'll move. We usually go to the left, and we make the same kind of loop every time, and it seems to work out really well for our group. I used my Mad Queen's Mandate to execute, which if you can use it to execute and or whenever you have a high amount of crit, it's not a bad trinket, and it's sneaky good, to be honest. It is super min-maxy and not always the best, but if you can abuse it with our high amount of crit, you can get some really good value out of it. And I think I got half of my Mad Queen's Mandate's crit in this run, and then half did not. I'm going to go ahead and use my true shot here, and we are going to be whittling the cooldown of it. Just my goal is to use it as much as possible until we're up to the Fangs of the Queen encounter, and to be able to use it there. So I put my Hunter's Mark on the Eye of the Queen, and we were all able to dodge that fairly easy because we knew where the eye was going to be. So I'm looking at my Mad Queen's Mandate. I do have that up, so I am going to be thinking if I should be using it or not. And it's an execute trinket, so the less health the mob has. So let's see if I get lucky. I unfortunately did not. I had over a 50% chance to crit there. Actually, no, I had a 70% chance to crit, and I didn't. So, you know, it is what it is. Had I have executed there, it would have done tremendous amount of damage, but then it would have also lowered the remaining cooldown by half. So it would have just been a 1 minute cooldown if it kills the target instead of a 2 minute cooldown. So that's kind of the caveat. It's a boom or bust trinket. If you can just get more crits out of it, and then you can get it to execute your target, you're in business, and it's a really great trinket. Otherwise, it's, you know, it's not as good. But again, my Skarden's Grace is a 593, so I have been trying out using Mad Queens in some of these other dungeons in place of it. And we're just doing our normal rotation, and we're something I need to get better at, and I have in these last couple of runs that you'll be up on my channel here soon as well, is if I've started delaying volley and explosive shot just a little bit, because it does so much damage, and if you don't have true shot up on a pack, you don't do nearly as much damage. As you're seeing here, I held my true shot, and I'm going to use an explosive shot at the very end where it's really not going to boost my damage too much. So that is the one big kind of issue that you have with Dark Ranger, is that if you don't have your big cooldowns, you feel it. Where whenever you play a Sentinel Marksman Hunter, for example, you can go in without True Shot, and you can still do pretty well on a 5 or 6 pack, because and as long as they're not moving out of your Lunar Storm, because you're still getting that good passive damage. And I'm going to think skinny here and make sure I don't get hit. So we're going to the last NPC, then we'll be right next to the magistrate, or whatever his name was, executor. There we go. And then we'll be on to the Fangs of the Queen encounter. It's crazy how long it takes for this first section, and then you're like zooming as soon as you get up to the last couple of bosses. So this is a 4-pack here, so this is some pretty good damage that we're going to see here. We definitely prioritize the bigger pulls. If we could constantly pull, since I'm not using light ammo, if you could constantly pull like 5 or 6 targets, you'd be in business. We'd be doing, that's like our perfect pull size, because we can hit the main target plus up to 5 more, so 6 in total without our light ammo. Now, if you get 8 targets, and you have light ammo, then we'll be in business, because that's where you really see a boost to Marksman Hunter damage, regardless of what spec you're playing or what hero spec you're playing. So this one had a couple more interrupts on it, and unfortunately we did not get them all out, so that's why we lost Barry. But this last eye is going down. Looking at my cooldowns, I know we have to wait for the NPC. So it's not a big deal that I still have 30 seconds left on my True Shot. And plus, here's the Void Emissary that we're going to have to deal with. Should we have maybe brought her along with us? Yeah, maybe that would have been a min-max thing to do. But hindsight's 2020, it wasn't that big of a deal. Because the faster we kill this Void Emissary, the faster she will reappear during the Fangs of the Queen encounter, which that boss does a ton of damage. We can mitigate a lot of it with our extra defensives thanks to the charge system they added for survival of the fittest, which I appreciate so much. So much. But this fight doesn't really scare me too much, as long as you don't put yourself in bad situations. And I know that's kind of a loaded thing to say. Basically, try to be in the middle of everything, and then whenever the arrows go out, the ice arrows, that's when I use a survival of the ice lines. You get an arrow on your head, either way. I will use my survival of the fittest for that. It's usually enough to deal with that pretty easily. And then whenever the two adds are together, that's when you can really cleave and do some great damage. So True Shot's up, we have everything up and ready to go. Let's start this boss fight. So I'm going to use my kill shot first just to get it on cooldown, so then I can start using all of my my procs that I'm going to get thanks to Death Blow, and all of this stuff is cleaving right now, so I got about 2.5 million DPS just from that really quick amount of cleave. I'm going to go ahead and use my Mad Queen's Mandate just before my True Shot goes out, because that's when I have the most crit chances possible here. I actually got the boss. That felt bad. I about died there. I forgot that happened. You want to dodge these lines. They will pick and go on a player. It just so happened it almost picked me each time. It was either me or Barry. But I did. I pulled off the boss. And then I had mentioned already about Mad Queen's Mandate. I will use it at the very end of my True Shots, because if it does crit, it is going to be doing 20% boosted crit damage as well, thanks to how True Shot works. Whenever the ice circle goes around Barry, you want to, or the tank, which is not Barry in this instance, you have to go in there to help him mitigate that. Otherwise, he'll probably die. And while that's happening, you get the blue, purple circles as well. They're kind of hard to see. There's the one that kind of moves around. You want to avoid that one if at all possible. Otherwise, you're probably dead. There's that Void Emissary that we were talking about. While they're doing this, it's really hard to get some good damage on them, so it's the perfect opportunity to deal with the Void Emissaries, because they're going to come back together, and then, what do you know it, our Explosive Shot and Volley is up, so let's go ahead and hit them both with that, because that's some tremendous amount of damage. And we can still cleave here. The Shade Slash, there we go, is just a frontal. There's a ton of frontals in this encounter, and I'm pinging back and forth to make sure I can hit each boss with my my Serpent Sting, thanks to Aim Shot and Serpent Stalker's Trickery. Here we're going to go ahead and use another one. So from 100% health, it only did about, I guess I had some atonement healing and some shields on me, so but I only took about 20% of my health and damage there. These two bosses are at 25% health, since they do share health. Got some pretty good damage in our group, like even how Details deals with giving Og Evoker the actual damage they're providing. If you look at those bars down there, everybody's pretty close, so everyone's doing a really great job. We're in our bullseye zone here, and this is going to be where Freezing Blood, we're on Zaf, so we want to help him with that. We just have to be near him in that circle so he can avoid that. And we're looking to get ready to use our Mad Queen's Mandate. So I'm taking a bit of ticking damage there, but Axix is doing a really great job of keeping us all up. And wouldn't you know it, look, we can cleave. For a split second, I can actually cleave on this boss. I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm getting ready to use that Mad Queen's Mandate, hoping it's going to crit. We're at 20 million health left on the boss. Here comes that Gluttony, hit for 14 million, 14.8, but unfortunately it was just a little bit early, so I didn't get the reset on it. But 1.38 million DPS for that boss fight, and we are moving to some of my favorite packs in here to do some good damage on our Dark Ranger Marksman Hunter. So I use my Explosive Shot, Volley, True Shot, Kill Shot, Rapid Fire, Aim Shot, and I'm just going to do Multi-Shot, Aim Shot, Multi-Shot, Rapid Fire while I'm out of my my Volley. But again, some really good damage. We just short of, we might have hit 4 million at one point. I wasn't looking at the very beginning of the pull, but you know, a 3.5 million pull there, and that was, I believe, 6 targets. So that was our optimal pull. This one's going to be a little bit bigger here, and I'm going to lead with Explosive Shot, Multi-Shot, and then Rapid Fire, Multi-Shot. And then I'm going to use my Kill Shot here in a second. There we go. That way I can get that Bleak Powder damage, which Bleak Powder did about 6% of my total DPS. Not as much as like Sentinel would, but not terrible. I'm trying to get better at getting more Bleak Powder damage. And then keep in mind, if you are using your Kill Shot while you have your Trick Shots up, it does not consume that Trick Shots. So then you could literally just go Kill Shot into Aim Shot, and then that Aim Shot or Rapid Fire would cleave still. That was something I wasn't understanding for the longest time, even in the PTR, that I just need to get in the habit of sending it more. It's just more damage, and you need to get as many of those out as possible. So this is going to be a big pull here in a second. I went ahead and used True Shot now, use Explosive Shot. Here comes Volley with Salvo. I did Aim Shot, and then I did Rapid Fire. I should have done that in the opposite. I should have done Rapid Fire, then Aim Shot. You know, hindsight's 2020. Still got right at 6 million DPS. That was some tremendous amount of damage. I'm going to guess, just off the top of my head, that it was because I had some stacking crit chance on my true shot, and those explosive shots, all 3 of them, would have crit. But that was about a 30-second pull there, and we made the most of it. So I like these chain pulls, and whether Teach is my tank or Xal'athath is my tank, both of them are doing a really great job of, after they pull some of these mobs, they're staying put for both our frozen orb damage, but then also if I was playing Sentinel. They've been doing a masterful job, so shout out to both of them. I really, really appreciate them changing how they tank just to get more damage from my kit, regardless of what I'm playing. So Venomous Spray will put a poison on everybody in your group. So what I do is I will use my turtle on that one, so I just avoid it entirely. Otherwise, if it did get on me, I could use turtle after that to get rid of it, and then I'll feign the next one off. So single target pulls are not really great for us, and the Royal Venom Shell was taking 50% less damage there. I should not have been targeting it when the Void Emissary was out. That was on me, and that's something that I need. As soon as that Emissary comes out, I need to be making it a priority to kill. So I use my Feign to get rid of the poison. That poison's pretty nasty too. I'm looking at my cooldowns. I know I can probably use True Shot at least one more time before the next boss. So that's something to think about. And I do know we're probably going to do a pretty big pull, so I don't really need it on the Royal Venom Shell here, so I'm going to go ahead and hold it and then do some more damage on the next pull. So 620k DPS, not exactly great damage without True Shot, and that is something that I'm going to talk about in that Dark Ranger video, is that if they want Dark Ranger to really continue to be played and be a thing, they really need to give us more opportunities at getting death blow procs. If you're going to keep our Black Arrow in an 80-20 zone, you're going to have more opportunities for death blow procs, and they're going to just have to be a higher percentage to make it work. So big pull there, got just below 3 million. The Fierce Stomping, that's a great time to use a defensive. And here comes the Void Emissary. Did Tyler learn? He certainly did. Wow, look at him. Even past me can learn a thing or two. So what Xal'athath is doing now is he's going down there to start the RP and grab all of these little droplets, and then he's bringing them back up, and we're going to pull them all with this sleeping Zekvir, or I guess it's not Zekvir, but you know what I mean. If you've done Zekvir's Lair, you know. Dark Barrage, just avoid those. You saw me take one. They don't do a ton of damage, but dodge them. You don't need to make your healer's life more difficult than it already is. Now, if you get hit and then Fierce Stomping comes out, yeah, you might have a bad time. Hey, look, Spook got a Keystone Master. I didn't even realize he got that while we were doing this key. Congratulations to him. He has not done a ton of keys with us, and he's been doing it pugging the hard way. So shout out to Spook if he ends up watching this. He's doing some really great work as well on his Warlock. So looking at forces, we know we're going to actually be short on forces. So after Izzo, after the final boss, there we go, we do have to pull a little bit more, so we're already thinking about that. But looking at our timer, we have 12 minutes left, and you don't hear comms, but Xal'athath is like, what the heck, this one droplet just decided he was not going to join in for one reason or another, because otherwise the boss would already be sitting here. And you can see Xal'athath is doing a really great job of pinging where he's going to pull. I'm going to put my Hunter's Mark on the target so we can do 5% more damage while it's above 80% health. Misdirect macro went out, and now we're off to the races. We went ahead and used our Lust on this. I didn't even realize we did, but that is a-okay. The Vicious Darkness is a knockback. You don't want it to knock you back into poop or anything like that. I got a crit on my Mad Queen's Mandate, and then how this boss works is that it's all about managing those pools well and trying to deal with all of that while AoE ticking damage is happening. Here comes another Vicious Darkness, so it's going to be a knockback. And whenever you soak one of those orbs, it puts a healing shield on you and absorb. So you want to make sure and not grab too many of them, because if that absorb is too much and Dark Pulse comes out, you're going to have a bad time. So Dark Pulse is a great opportunity for you to use a defensive. Use a defensive. Okay, well, I didn't listen. Use a defensive there. Make your healer's life easier. And then the Void Emissary comes out here. Here comes the Vicious Darkness, so it's a knockback. You can use every ability in your toolkit during that knockback except for Aim Shot. So I try to prioritize using anything else while the knockback is happening to get full value from my casting time. So we have 35% or so on the boss. This guy is melting very quickly. Here comes a Blood Surge. I believe that goes out actually on the tank. I actually don't know what Blood Surge is, so maybe I should figure that one out. But we have done a really great job of keeping one side of the room clean and keeping all of the poop on the other side. So I moved in closer here just a little bit so I didn't get knocked back into those puddles. That is important. And we're hitting our bullseye range here very, very quickly. I'm standing, and while I'm still doing good damage to the boss, I'm standing in the way of these orbs, because if the orbs get to the boss, they heal him. And I don't remember how much it is. It's a fair bit of damage. So I said, hey, I'm going to learn from my mistakes, and I'm going to use a defensive. And so I went ahead and used my my turtle there. So I take 0 damage while that happens. That way, Access can prioritize everybody else. Now, I don't I don't do damage during it, but I don't die. And as you saw, I got a nice crit with my Mad Queen's Mandate and was able to execute the boss. So I'm going to have it up here in 45 seconds. If you can prioritize that, and if you can get significant crits or crit chances and just constantly execute with that, oh, it's so great. And I'm going to try to get to the point where I'm like at 75% chance plus, but it also isn't the best for every key. And it also kind of depends on what trinkets you currently have on your character. So I can go ahead and use all of my abilities here. You can get out of the route thanks to our Disengage and Post Haste. And we're going to melt this Elder's Shade Weaver very, very quickly. And then also I have updated all of my weak auras and add-ons and stuff like that, or my macros, I should say. And those are found in my my Discord, and there is an invitation there if you would like to come and hang out. No requirement to stay. I would love for you guys to stay, but I understand there's a lot of Discords out there. Whenever the Umbral Weave comes out, you get close, and then that's when you disengage back after it hits. There's a lot of overlapping damage. The Tremor Slam is going to go out, and then that's what spawns all of the little adds. It's a great opportunity to use your Misdirect. Ravenous Swarm is just a dot that goes on everybody. It's a pretty nasty dot. It does about, at least at a +10, did about 15% of my health every tick, and it ticks for, I believe, 6 seconds. Like I said, there's a lot of bad overlaps, so you get full use out of your your defensives on this encounter, that's for sure. So I really want to have as many of them up as possible. Unfortunately, I did just use one of my charges of Survival of the Fittest, but if it kept me alive, then is it really a bad thing? And I did learn that I, once again, should have been on the Void Emissary, because the Hulking War Shell is taking 40% less damage at that point. So I might as well be turning and killing the Void Emissary. So as soon as those come out, stop what you're doing and kill them. I'm helping out with the ads here. Hulking War Shell. Here comes one more Ravaging Swarm. The versatility is working quite nicely for us right there. And we have 6 minutes and 49 seconds, and here comes the boss. So this boss is pretty straightforward. It's a pretty much rinse and repeat encounter, but there's a lot of things that can kill you if you don't have defensives to deal with them. So a couple of abilities, and I'll kind of talk about them as they come out here. One of them is the Shifting Anomalies, which is going to be 3 orbs, and they will chase to a player. And on that, you just want to bait them in good positions, but then also don't get hit by them, and they can one-tap you very quickly. We have the Umbral Weave that comes out we just saw from those ads. Disengage back. Everybody gets close so I can help cleave. And then I should have used my Mad Queen's Mandate there. I didn't. And there's where whenever the Ords move, they put another purple circle on the ground. Splice comes out, and that's just a dot that does pretty significant damage. And here comes a Tremor Slam, so that's a perfect opportunity to use a defensive. One of your charges of Survival of the Fittest is ideal. The Void Emissary is coming out, which will help us have another like pocket defensive in a way because of all of that versatility that we're getting. Process of Elimination is a circle on Xal'athath. That's something that you have to get out of, and he has to deal with by himself. ISO is at 60% now. Here comes another set of Shifting Anomalies. And then we've seen the entire fight. Let's rinse and repeat. And we're also at 97% forces right now, and we will not have our Lust. Here comes the Umbral Weave, so we're going to get close. I got close in the dome, disengage back, use Explosive Shot, drop all of the extra explosive shots thanks to Salvo, and cleave the rest of the Umbral Weaves down to get those guys out. Because the bad overlap there is you get rooted, the orbs come out, Splice comes out, orbs move, hits you, and you die. Yeah, here comes a Tremor Slam, so here comes my next Survival of the Fittest charge. And then True Shot comes out. We're at less than 40% health now here on the boss. We're dodging the orbs as they move around, and we are AoEing down all of the ads. It's a pretty good fight for Dark Ranger in particular versus Sentinel, because we have a lot of good AoE cleave opportunities, but also you don't have to worry about the boss's positioning. Or I should say your positioning of your abilities compared to where the boss is. We have Splice that comes out, and we're at just close to 15% now. Here comes a Tremor Slam. I went ahead and used, actually I didn't have to use anything. Oh no, I did. It just came up off cooldown, that Survival of the Fittest. Thank you, Action Tracker. And ISO is at 8%. We made really quick work of this boss. Everybody did an amazing job. This is a full team effort, and I'm so proud of all the hard work that everybody was doing. But we're not quite done yet. So 1.23 million DPS on that boss. We have to pull, I believe, 3 of these guys, because I believe they're approximately 1% each. So here comes just all of the everything. We're sending all of our cooldowns. I'm going to disengage back here in a second, I do believe, because we actually pulled more than we intended. We interrupted some of the Void Weave ability there, which is a knockback. True Shot comes out, rapid fire, multi-shot. I have my Mad Queen's Mandate for good measure, and we are finishing off this key. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Be sure and follow me over at Twitch at twitch.tv/MrEggplant. I'll have more Dark Ranger specific content very soon. Congratulations to everybody on their Keystone Hero portal. Congratulations to Axix on his Keystone Hero for Season 1. If you guys want to see more content like this, please be sure and leave me a comment down below. Let me know how your Mythic Plus journey is going so far. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.